What's going on, everyone? So the NBA has postponed now the Charlotte Hornets game, the Spurs game, and we're still waiting to find out what's going to happen with this next Spurs game for the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, obviously, what is going on is horrific, and there's no doubt about it. And look, I've talked about it, want to keep it basketball, as you all know. So from a basketball standpoint, still a business. The show's still got to go on, right? Like, players still got to play. Other teams are now being affected, right? Like, at some point, you got to figure out what the Lakers are going to do. What, are they just going to forfeit the season? You know, like, what's going to happen here, right? And the more and more games that get postponed, same thing with the Clippers. It's not just the Lakers, it's Clippers too. We just had other games on, like, the East Coast get postponed because of, like, the weather. And it's crazy, like, what's going on. But the NBA at some point has to figure out, like, okay, what are we doing here, right? You keep postponing the Laker games, and now it's becoming a thing where they're because of the uncertainty of the Miami game, the Lakers and Heat game is no longer going to be on ESPN, which I don't blame ESPN for that, because it's like, we can't have a time slot for a game that might not even happen, right? And so, see the report, no decision has been made yet on the status of the Miami Heat at Lakers game on Wednesday, but it will no longer be televised by ESPN. So again, like, I don't know why they're not in Vegas, right? Like, Vegas loves the NBA. Vegas wants to have an NBA team. You don't think, like, I don't know why this hasn't already been a thing. I don't know why they haven't already, like, figured this out. Play at the T-Mobile Arena, play at Thomas and Mack, right? Before or after college games, whatever you got to do, right? I mean, the NFL, like, moved the Rams game, right? Like, so what's going on with the NBA, right? Like, even if this whole thing ends tomorrow, right? Like, there's still air conditions and all kind, like, there's so many issues that are going to go into it, right? Like, why not just bring them to Las Vegas, right? All these Laker games are supposed to be home games. Well, the Las Vegas is literally in the backyard for the Lakers, literally, right? Like, teams or all the fans in the stands are all going to be Laker fans. Yes, technically it's on a neutral court, but you got to do what you got to do. What are you going to do? You're just going to postpone every game this month for the Lakers? And then what? They're going to play, another month? Or are they going to have to play all these games back to back? Right? Like, how are you going to make this work? How are you going to figure this out? Or what? The Lakers are just not going to play 82 games? Like, no. Like, like, for an organization that acted so fast during COVID and kind of, like, revolutionized the way that was, and was really one step ahead of really all the other leagues, and being able to create the bubble and do all this stuff and all the intricacies that went into that, and all the teams, and basically the entire league, having to figure out the entire league. You were able to do that, but you haven't been able to figure out in the last week how to get the Lakers to play basketball, how to get the Clippers to play basketball. It's just, is it not odd to anyone else? Is it just me? Again, I understand, there's a lot of variables going on in Los Angeles, but the NBA is still, a business, still operates in all the other states, right? Like, move them more north, right? Have them play in Oakland or something like that, whatever you got to do, right? Because it's just like, I don't know why hasn't been a simple transition to Las Vegas. You're telling me what, Vegas is being difficult or something? There's no way. Vegas begs for the NBA to come every opportunity. I mean, they have NBA Summer League here. They try to have, like, exhibition games. They now have the in-season tournament championship in Vegas, right? Like, Vegas is trying to become a sports city and trying to become a basketball town. And it has a huge Laker demographic. So it has all the tools you need for, I can understand if it was like, Charlotte or something like that, where it's like, you're going to go there and it's just going to be a bunch of, like, other team fans or Laker fans or something. But no, it's literally the Lakers, right? I mean, I understand even to an extent the Clippers maybe not wanting to go to Vegas because, they're like, man, it's going to be all Laker fans, right? Like, I can understand that to an extent. But the Lakers, right? Especially when you have to play all these home games. They were on like a road trip, you wouldn't have to worry about it. But no, like literally, the Lakers' next road game is like the 27th. You're still like 2 weeks away from that. Lakers were supposed to have this, this was supposed to be a good stretch for them and all that stuff. Like, now it's like, we could get word any moment that the Spurs game is going to get postponed. And then they already moved the Heat game. Like, there's another 2 games. That's 4 games there that Lakers are going to have to make up for, that the NBA is going to have to figure out and adjust. So now what? Now Lakers are going to play, 4 back-to-backs to end the season? Right? Like, that's not fair to the Lakers. Right? Now they have to play twice as hard as everyone else leading in. Yes, I get you can make the argument, well, they had the rest. They had they got extra rest and stuff, which, to a point is good. Right? Like, there's definitely some benefits to the rest, particularly for LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Right? There's definitely, Jared Vanderbilt trying to get reacclimated to the team and him, going through practices and stuff like that. Same thing with like a Dorian Finney-Smith. Dorian Finney-Smith gets to, work out and go through drills and training and better learn the defensive schemes and the offensive schemes instead of just kind of out there floating and trying to figure it out on the fly. There are definitely some benefits to this, without a doubt, right? However, they benefit in the short term. If the Lakers have to play twice as hard going into when the playoffs are happening, then it basically washed itself out, maybe even worse, depending on, knock on wood, injuries and all kinds of stuff, because they're having to play twice as hard to get into the playoffs, right? Now, you could argue, potentially benefit the Lakers because they could kind of see where they're at between now and then. So, like, for example, let's say they do schedule these, 4 back-to-backs. Boom, 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 right? Okay. Let's say getting into those last 8 games, the 4 sets of back-to-back, if the Lakers are essentially like, hey, we only need to win 2 of these, and we have the, 5th seed locked up, then perfect, right? Then it's just like, okay, pick the 2 best games that you have most likely to win, play those games, and then just rest guys the rest. So there could be a benefit, but it could also be bad. Like, the Western Conference is so tight, right? Like, it's very possible that the season could come down to those final games, right? And I'm not talking about, missing the play-in or anything. I'm talking about, making the playoffs or being a play-in team or maybe being the 4 seed to, the 6 seed, whatever, right? Like, there could be some real implications. There could be some real troubles here, right? Now, could they, if they are able to figure out this next Spurs and this Heat's game, then I think that it'd be all right. Because worst case scenario, what you could do is just have, when the in-season tournament, or not in-season tournament, the play-in tournament, when that's going on, you could have, Lakers play in between, right? Because there's, a week or whatever before that. But then they don't get the rest that most NBA teams, get. So they'd go from straight into playing to that, or do they play, the first 2? It'd be like them being in the play-in still. Right, because they'd still have to play their last few games before that. So that's my question: is how and where do they squeeze these in? My guess, I think what would be best would be to squeeze them in the middle of the season, so after All-Star break. So Lakers basically, they'd get a little bit of a break, and then maybe squeeze the 2 games in March. Or late February, whatever, something like that, right? That'd probably be the best approach at that point, to where it's it's fair, so that way they're not having to play twice as hard towards the end of the season. They're coming in yes, they just got off the All-Star break, but everyone got equal rest at that point. Boom, 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 something like that. I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell. But got to do something. Got to figure something out, in my opinion, because this is it's crazy at this point. I just don't know why we're not playing in Vegas. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with my points? Do you disagree with my points? You kind of mixed in the middle? Did you feel differently? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. Lets me enjoy these types of videos. Truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.